Today I'm going to be using UEFN's developer mode to get access to Chapter 5 content in UEFN. Alright, so this is what the developer mode of UEFN looks like, and as you could tell, there is way much more stuff. See, you have like all this stuff on top. We have the version 28.3, check content, zones, tools, flashlights, and then when you go on like the three lines right here, you have like all these things. Allow camera shakes, bookmarks, and all this stuff that we do not have in the original. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the Chapter 5 content that you can find within the developer mode of UEFN. And I will be posting a tutorial on how to do so very soon, so make sure to subscribe for that. So I'm going to show you the stuff that you can find of Chapter 5 in the developer mode. So here we go. So this is actually the first time I've ever used filters in UEFN overall. And when you go like right here and you filter it, it'll show like only that like the filter thing. So I have level enabled, and when I type up something or go into a folder, it will only show me the levels. So what I want to do is I'm going to type in what they call Chapter 5, which I think is this. There we go. And then we enable the filter, and there we go. So as you can tell, you have the terrain thing. Now, there's levels, you can only pull up levels of the POI. So as you can tell, when I turn back and go over here, this is one of the Chapter 5 POIs. This is fencing fields. This is one of the POIs. This is the actual thing. Sometimes you'll see like the LOD, HLOD, which is just like the preview of it, kind of like on a low mesh. But this is the highest mesh that you can get of this stuff. And this is the stuff that you see in the Chapter 5 map when you load into it. And it's actually pretty sick because it has everything that you'll see in the Chapter 5 map when you load into BR. No Creator Royale or anything like that. This is the actual thing. You see like all the chests. You can go under. You can kind of see like the stuff that they have under. It's actually pretty crazy. I've actually never been down here before. And it looks like this is like a different version of the Chapter 5 fencing fields vault. Because I don't think the vault is like this with the bookshelves in the back or something like that. But that's still pretty crazy. And you have like everything under. Now you can't click on stuff individually. When you click on stuff, it'll bring you to the level, but it's still pretty sick though how you can look at this stuff and probably like you can create some pretty cool photographic shots. I'm gonna be checking out more Chapter 5 POIs in this UEFN thing, so make sure to subscribe and like this video. It's actually pretty crazy though how I just found out about this, and UEFN is coming up on almost being a year old, and I now just find out about this, and there's a lot of stuff that you could really look through and get some like really cool things going on in this developer mode. But I will be making more videos on this developer mode in the future, just like with the tutorial that will be coming soon. So let's get into more POIs, and as you can tell, what you saw earlier is the other POI, and I'm not sure what they call this. I get so mixed up with the Chapter 5 POIs, but this is one of the POIs, and I think on the south, on the left, this is one of the cooler POIs. You have like almost everything in this POI. You have like the main building right here. You have the reboot van, which is right here. You have everything in this POI. There is nothing missing. Well, there is some stuff missing, but when it has the full structure, everything that is supposed to be in there is in there. Just like the cash register and everything like that. And I can also increase my graphics. So I'm going to do this once because when you spawn stuff in, sometimes it will crash your game. So I got to be careful to not crash it or I'll lose everything. Because when you leave this and you go back into it, everything is like brand new. Nothing saved. Nothing is nothing. So whatever you do will only occur in that moment until you exit or you crash, and then you got to restart everything. So that's the thing with these levels. Like if I were to drag one of these, see when I drag that, it kind of freezes. As you can tell, it's gonna freeze. Now I got to be careful because sometimes when you do a lot of them, it will crash the game. So when you drag one of these things, you got to go down and it'll show you this like random thing. And when you drag it, it will show what it has. So this is actually pretty crazy. This is from Chapter 4, I think. Or Chapter 5. This is like one of the islands right there. We're going to go see what that looks like in a little bit. But look how sick this is. So let me increase my graphics. So I'm going to go in this kind of shot right here. I'm going to increase my graphics to high. It's kind of the same thing. Past high. But as you can tell, the game is frozen right now. And I'm not sure if this is because of the PC that I have or it's just how it works. But you really got to be careful because it will freeze. And sometimes I get worried that it's going to crash. But usually it just takes a little bit to kind of render in because of how much stuff you have in this kind of like there's so many folders. It's actually insane, and it only takes two things to put into your folder for like the game launcher to get this active, which I think is pretty crazy. So it looks like I changed the graphics. Nothing really happened, but it's pretty laggy. So as you can tell, the graphics definitely did change. Now this is actually a pretty cool thing about this is that you can come in here and get some cool shots. Now obviously you can do this in replay mode, but you probably can get a better shot using the UEFN thing. But obviously this is just a extra step and when to do something like that. But it's still pretty sick though how sick this looks. So let's go over to the island. Let me change my graphics now right back to medium so it doesn't lag when I move over, because it's pretty annoying and I want a clean, smooth view of everything that I'm looking at. So there we go. So one thing too is that everything is set on level. So when I exit out of this and click on it, I can't press F and spawn it. It will only show me where the thing is right there, which I think is pretty weird how everything is just on a level. You can't click on stuff individually, but it's still pretty sick though. Yeah, I think this is chapter 5. Look how good everything looks though, and it's just so pretty insane that this is a real thing that you can do right now without downloading anything. All you gotta do is put 2 things and you're set. Look how sick this is though. So what I want to do is I want to get more POIs to see how it look. Now one thing I just realized is that everything has the same name and same thing, but the only thing that isn't the same is the size. So what you want to look for is that you want to look for the highest size that has MIB. So I'm going to drag this in. Should work. There, I'm going to bring this in, and it will spawn me something useful. Sometimes it won't, but usually the ones with the highest thing will have the most stuff, so that's going to be the coolest. Just like these 2 POIs had MIB in it, and look what it spawned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find one with MIB. I don't think I could search that up because it has nothing to do with the name. It only shows up what is in the name. So all this like other stuff is just really nothing, and I think almost every POI or something that is useful should have MIB in it, and it's taken me a while because there's hundreds of these other things. So this is what I was talking about. So this is the HLOD, and this is basically just a low mesh of everything. As you can tell, it's really not like the full thing. Alright, so I just re-logged in back into UEFN using the developer mode because, well, as I was trying to load more levels, I accidentally loaded a 400,000 MIB into this. And actually look at this. So this is the real chapter 5 island. The only thing is that there is no beneath part. Oh no, there isn't. Okay, so look how sick this is. It even got the zip lines. I'm telling you, this is pretty insane. It's still crazy though how this will probably get used during Chapter 5 Season 2, which is actually going to be pretty wild. The fact that we're going to be having instant access to stuff like this. Even though you really can't do anything with it, but it's still pretty cool looking at it. And just, I don't know, just really looking at this stuff is pretty crazy. Just like having access to the main island using Creative Royale, because all of those methods are kind of patched. And seeing it and just going into it, I think it was pretty sick. We have another, I think this is the HLOD of the Ice Island, which I think is pretty sick. We have another one. Let's see what this one is. There's actually a lot of islands. Yeah, there's actually a lot of islands. This is maybe another, this is actually another island with kind of half of it disappearing. I'm not sure what's going on with this, but we even have like the underground right there. Maybe there is the underground for the other one. It's just in a different place, and I haven't gotten used to it yet. So I'm going to keep spawning down these. It's just another island. There's so many islands. It's actually pretty insane. Here's another island. This is the HLOD. This is another one? No. So we're going to keep pulling these out. So this is another thing from Chapter 5. This looks like this is Snooty. This is actually the HLOD. So let me go back down. Let's see if I could try to find that one was next to it. So this is another island. There's so many islands. So as I was looking for more levels, I came across another one that was using MIB. And look at this. So this looks like this is the HLOD. This isn't the official one. I think this is Snooty. I'm not really sure. Or this is, I think this is one of the POIs by Fencing Fields. This like kind of thing right here with the fishing thing. But let me try to find more and I'll get back. So here's going to be the last thing we check out in today's video that is surrounded by the topic of Chapter 5. And this is actually one of the buildings by Fencing Fields. Once again, this is not a HLOD. This is the building that I was talking about earlier. Now, we do have the HLOD of Lavish Layer. If you want a part 2 of this video, I would definitely consider that. But look at this. So this is everything from Chapter 5. We even have like the trees right there too. Everything right here. We have like everything. I don't know. It's just crazy. The fact that we basically are seeing the development side of creating the Chapter 5 map with all of this stuff right here. Now, I'm not sure like how UEFN developers have access to this stuff and how it kind of goes with creating Fortnite maps or the Chapter 5 map. But look, yeah, look at this. So we have the Fencing Field sign right there. Now, one thing I noticed about this development side of UEFN is that everything in the content drawers is basically everything that you can find in F-Model. Now, if you don't know what F-Model is, it's basically everything that is in the Fortnite files. So if you want to go get something from Chapter 5, a mesh, a material, texture, you can go and do so. But whatever's in the Fortnite files is stuff that you can only access. So you can't go and get stuff from probably stuff that's already scrapped or erased from the files because, well, F-Model is basically Fortnite's files. And I'm not sure, I'm not going to go into detail because I don't know that much, but I know a little to tell you on what it is. But this is actually a pretty insane video, to the fact to where I'm basically bringing stuff from the Chapter 5 map into UEFN, and it only takes one really drag and a little bit of kind of finding which one has the highest, size. So if I drag this one, MIB, I'm going to drag in it, and it could be something good, or it could be another island, because it seems like there's so many islands in this thing right here, and it's so much. The fact that it went up from 400 megabytes, I think that's what that is. That could have been the Chapter 5 map, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to load that because, well, it crashed my game, and it wasn't the first time. But if you want a part 2 to this video, make sure to subscribe, like this video.